Welcome back to This Day in Irish History. I'm your host, Raymond Welsh. Before we dive into today's story, if you'd like to explore other significant events that happened on this day in Irish history, visit thisdayirishhistory.com. The link is in the episode description. Now let's journey back to April 29th, 1608, when two of Ireland's most powerful Gaelic leaders, Hugh O'Neill and Rory O'Donnell, arrived in Rome after their dramatic and fateful departure from Ireland, a moment remembered as the Flight of the Earls. The Flight of the Earls stands as a defining moment in Irish history, symbolising the end of the old Gaelic order that had dominated the island for centuries. Hugh O'Neill, Earl of Tyrone, and Rory O'Donnell, Earl of Tyrconnell, had been among the most formidable opponents of English rule in Ireland. Their leadership during the 9 Years' War had almost succeeded in halting English expansion. However, after their defeat at the Battle of Kinsale in 1601 and the relentless pressure that followed, the traditional Gaelic world was left battered and vulnerable. By September 1607, realising that their position had become untenable, O'Neill, O'Donnell, and approximately 90 followers secretly left Lough Swilly in County Donegal aboard a French ship. Their destination was mainland Europe, where they hoped to gather support from Catholic monarchies, particularly Spain and the papacy, to reclaim their lands and restore Gaelic power. Yet their journey was fraught with hardship. Weather delays, illness, and political realities meant their dream of a grand Catholic intervention grew ever more distant with each passing day. After a grueling winter in Flanders and failing to secure meaningful Spanish assistance, the Earls made their way to Italy. On April 29th, 1608, they finally arrived in Rome, the heart of Catholic Christendom. There they were welcomed with ceremonial honours, reflecting the papacy's sympathy for their cause, but practical support remained elusive. Pope Paul V granted them pensions and treated them with dignity, but by then it was increasingly clear that they were exiles, not conquerors awaiting their return. Their arrival in Rome was deeply symbolic. Rome had long represented the spiritual authority of Catholic Europe, and for these Irish leaders, it was a place of refuge and last hope. Yet the reality was stark. They were now political relics, honoured yet powerless. Their dream of returning to Ireland at the head of a Catholic army slowly faded into impossibility. The consequences of their flight were profound. In their absence, the English crown moved swiftly to consolidate control over Ulster, the stronghold of Gaelic resistance. The vast estates of O'Neill and O'Donnell were confiscated, paving the way for the Plantation of Ulster, one of the most significant and transformative colonisation efforts in Irish history. English and Scottish settlers, loyal to the Crown and Protestant in faith, were brought into Ulster in large numbers, drastically altering the demographic, religious and political landscape of the region, a legacy that continues to shape Northern Ireland to this day. Hugh O'Neill would live out his days in Rome, dying in 1616. Rory O'Donnell's life was cut much shorter. He died in 1608, just months after arriving, worn down by the hardships of exile. Their deaths marked the closing chapter of the Gaelic aristocracy's influence in Irish political life. Without their leadership, the traditional Gaelic clans could no longer mount effective resistance, and the old Gaelic world slipped into memory. The Flight of the Earls, culminating with their arrival in Rome on this day in 1608, remains one of the most poignant episodes in Irish history. It captures the sorrow of a people uprooted, the resilience of a culture under siege, and the beginning of a new and often tragic chapter in Ireland's story. Though their cause was lost, the memory of O'Neill, O'Donnell, and their final stand continues to inspire reflections on identity, loyalty, and the enduring spirit of a nation. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Ireland's rich past. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, I'm Raymond Welsh. Slán go foil.